have regular Coke, so it doesn't matter which one you want.
Yeah, I just had to delete all the messages. I have, like, so many messages from the media, dude. I just had to, like, honestly erase all those things.
I think my lack of sleep's catching up with me. It's starting to tear me up, man. I had stomach problems, like, the last 3 days.
I got you.
I'm all off.
I'm living off of cigarettes, dude. That's what I'm living off.
That's probably worse than no sleep.
Yeah, that and no sleep. I get some sleep, but, you know.
Last night was the first night I slept more than 5 hours. I slept 6 hours last night. I was so happy.
Yeah. Like, I sleep a couple hours, and then I'm like, oh, shit, let's go to school.
Yeah.
Damn. But, I had a real quick question, because, you know,
yeah, man.
Obviously I've been watching the media and shit like that. Like, have you guys, like, ever, because I've never talked to this nanny. Like, she always made it sound like everybody knew this nanny.
Well, everybody knew of this nanny.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key here. My sister has used she's with the nanny, or she's with the sitter. I had never heard my sister say the word Zanny or Zenaida before. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because I also haven't been living at home for probably the past 3 years. You know what I mean? Around the time Kaylee was born. So I'm not an expert when it comes to that. You know, that's more my mom and my dad's field. My mom has said that she knows my sister has said the name Zanny before.
Yeah.
She's maintained this name for a long time. I don't know if she ever heard her say Zenaida.
Right.
Frankly, if I hear Zanny, I think nanny, because it's just a Z instead of where the N would be.
Yeah, I remember her bringing it up because she said this girl's name was Zenaida, like, back in the day when I first met her. She said she was at her house when I first met her. She was hanging out at her place.
Okay.
And, you know, and that was just, you know, it was just a conversation that I remember having, her saying that she was at her house and just hanging out with her.
Right.
You know, and then she said it was like, oh yeah, Zanny the nanny. So then, as soon as somebody says Zanny the nanny, that's like,
so she said that one. Okay. So I know it since then.
Yeah, no, I know her as Zanny the nanny. Like, it's just like a quick little thing that you always remember.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's how I knew about that.
But is there any way to actually, like, can you remember from that conversation? Was there any way of verifying that there actually was somebody else even there, that it was a girl, number one? Or?
She every time I always talked to her on the phone, or she said she would always go talk on the phone, she said that she'd always be either, like when I talked on the phone, she said she was either outside, like sitting on a stoop or something like that, or like when she'd go talk to your mother, she'd go outside, talk to her mom.
Right, exactly. But remember when she would go talk to my mom, she'd tell her that she's in Tampa or Jacksonville, wherever the hell she was telling her, so who knows.
And I always say to her, I'd be like, why do you have to call your mom? She's like, because we always get into it, and I don't want to be, if I'm outside, then I don't, you know, this whole excuse, right now it's just like,
yeah, exactly.
But at the time, I'm just like, sure, whatever, I'm not doing something else.
Right.
I really don't think anything of it, but.
See, I guess that's probably why.
Because if I ever caught her in a lie right then and there, I would have been like, yo.
Exactly.
Why are you lying?
Exactly.
Because I thought that she was completely truthful with me about everything. Sure.
I know. Well, so that's the kind of stuff I'm worried about. And, like, obviously I grew up with a lot of the same friends that she grew up with, you know? Mm. So, I mean, I didn't know Jesse until, you know, he propose and all that stuff. I didn't really know much of him when they were even dating. I mean, I just didn't. But what I'm saying is, I have a lot of her old friends and a lot of her base of friends. Like, I know them, like, or not. Well, them either. Exactly. Like, they've heard her say the name before, like Zanny before. So this is something that she's maintained to plenty of people. You know what I mean? And it's not anything even in the last few months. It's like, you know, over the last year or 6 months, you know, however long it's been. But what I'm worried about, it's like Casey, it seems like Casey stopped seeing all the friends that she, you know, would see, or maybe not see, because she's not really accurate, because she never really went out.
Right.
Alright, like, even when she was hanging around with Ricardo and seeing him starting around February until April-ish, and then they kind of cut off their serious relationship, still saw each other a little bit, but it wasn't really that serious, you know? Even during that time, like, yeah, my sister and Kaylee would be gone for like a day or 2 days to stay there or whatever, but it wasn't like, number one, she's never gone for a long period of time.
Right.
But number two, like, she never went out. Right. You know, if she would ever see her friends, it was like they would come over, or, you know, they would just go shopping or something. Like, it was never, you know, I need a babysitter so I can go out and party or, you know, whatever. And Casey, it's like she kind of stopped talking to all her friends, even talking to them, for the most part. Like, just in the past, well, I know time just really seems to slip away at sometimes, but maybe around April or May, like around that time when she was still kind of serious or start, you know, getting out of being serious with Ricardo, you know, like she stopped talking to this girl Lauren, who's one of her best friends that's actually pregnant right now, and if there's anybody that you think that you could probably talk to at that time, is one of your best friend that she's now pregnant and stuff.
So I never heard of any of the people. I know people that said that she wasn't had any friends that were girls, and the only friends that she ever really talked about were Sean Daly and all those guys.
That couldn't be further from. It couldn't be further.
Those are like her only friends, she said.
Annie Downing was like her best friend.
That's what I'm saying.
Melina.
Annie. I met Annie, and she was there at that. I mean, I met them, and that was the only time I ever met them, and that was right after when I came back from New York.
Melina Calbrisi, one of her best friends. This girl Stephanie, I forget her last name, starts with a K. Exactly. She's one of her best friends. And it's not like I'm saying that she's one of her best friends. Like, she's always called them one of her best friends. These girls were at her birthday party in March. Like, you know what I mean? Like, her birthday party in March was all girls, dude. If I didn't have a girlfriend, I made a comment. I was like, man, if I had a girlfriend, I'm macking it tonight. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't get why all of a sudden, or how all of a sudden she just, like, she had to have some kind of falling out with some of these folks. And I've talked to Melina. I haven't talked to Annie that she was still in contact with, and Annie's like, listen, Casey seemed like she was being really clingy. She was talking for her own. She's like, she goes, I felt like she was being really clingy to me, and she was lying about stuff. I haven't gotten her to completely open up to me, because Annie and I have never really seen eye to eye.
Right.
But she hasn't completely opened up to me yet. But she's like, Casey had been lying about all this stuff to me, and one day it just pissed me off enough where I was just like, listen, you know.